evening. You've joined us right here in the India Development Debate. I'm Taneia Bhardwaj. Priyanka Gandhi is taking the fight directly to Narendra Modi. At least that's what seems to be emerging in the past couple of days, when the Congress leader has said that Modi is ignoring his constituency and she's ready to contest should the party give her a go-ahead. Well, this has made the Lok Sabha election far more intriguing because the fight is right now on the doorstep of the Prime Minister. Are we looking at a face-off between Priyanka Gandhi and Narendra Modi in Varanasi? Also on the show, we're going to ask, can Nyay trump nationalism, and can the Congress's temple visits take the sheen away from BJP's Hindutva agenda? Who is ahead in the alliance arithmetic as the race to Delhi picks up pace? This is what we're going to discuss this evening with our politicians and commentator on this edition of the India Development Debate. Let's get straight to it. First, let me introduce to you our panel. Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins in. We've also got Salman Anis Soz, the national spokesperson of the Congress party, and political commentator Sanjeev Srivastava is here with us as well. Gentlemen, good evening to each one of you, and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, Mr. Salman Soz, first up, let's talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak. For a third straight day now, we've heard Priyanka Gandhi hinting at how she's ready to contest from Varanasi. 2 weeks to go for the election. So pray tell us, will she or won't she?
Well, I think, like she indicated, it is for our party to decide. And the party has not made a decision yet. When it is made, you will all know.
Syed Zafar Islam, let me ask you, taking on the Prime Minister today in UP, you had Ms. Gandhi sort of accusing him of ignoring his own constituency, claiming that in 5 years he's toured the world, but he's had no time to visit a single village in Varanasi. How do you respond to that criticism?
See, the kind of development which has taken place in Varanasi is an example for everyone to see. And if you just ask any person, man on the street in Varanasi, he will tell you that the Prime Minister and a lot of people who have really worked for that constituency, because Prime Minister cannot visit every day in his own constituency, but there are people who had been given the responsibility, who had worked tirelessly for the development of that particular constituency, and a lot of development has taken place. So people are extremely happy in Varanasi, and this kind of a comment actually holds no water.
Salman Soz, I just want to come back to you, and I know you're going to be tight-lipped about whether or not we're going to see Ms. Gandhi contest, but I want to go back to a sound bite that all the television channels were playing, where she was sort of in a very jovial manner talking to all the party cadre, and she said, hey, start preparations for 2022. Is 2019 just a rehearsal for 2024?
Not at all. In fact, 2019, as the Congress president has said, is an extremely, extremely important election for this country. It is for the soul of this country. We're all kind of fighting hard in this election. Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi Vadrav's comment is also about the 2022 assembly election, because after all, she's a general secretary of Eastern Uttar Pradesh for our party. So we have to do both. Right now, we are obviously focusing on the Lok Sabha election, but at the same time, she's making sure that the cadre understands that we have to take UP back. We have to get back in this position. Remember, just in 2009, Congress got more Lok Sabha seats than any other political party. It's only 9 years removed from that time. The Congress party, even today, I can tell you, I think people will be very, very surprised by what the election results in UP show. I think the Congress party is going to do really well in this election, including in UP. And then, of course, we have to build on that. And that is the context in which she spoke about 2022.
Sanjeev Srivastava, let me ask you, you've sort of had your ear to the ground, you've just come back from UP. Priyanka Gandhi, of course, keeping everybody guessing on whether or not she's going to contest from Varanasi, but does she have what it takes, you think, to, take on the Prime Minister in his constituency?
Well, actually, Tanya traveled to Western UP, which is the Jat, Dalit, Muslim combination versus the BJP cadre, and it's a very tight contest there. So really going down to the wire. and I think the opposition Gathbandhan has an edge because of sheer arithmetic. Let's see whether Mr. Modi is able to change that narrative as he started campaigning there yesterday. Coming back to Priyanka Gandhi, I don't think that any serious political observer has any doubt about the fact that Priyanka Gandhi is a factor in terms of charisma and her connect with people. Now, how much that X factor is actually going to get translated into the quantum of votes for the Congress in this election is a subject matter of speculation. So, anybody, including myself, we are free to have an opinion, but the real answer will only be known on 23rd May. But going forward, I think when Rahul Gandhi announced her candidature as General Secretary in charge for Eastern UP, he very categorically said that this is a game the Congress party is playing for keeps, meaning that Priyanka Gandhi is going to be the party's chief ministerial candidate whenever the next assembly elections are held. So, even a Priyanka Gandhi or anybody for that matter cannot just appear on the ground and wave a band, and there is no Cinderella-like story anymore in Indian politics. So, it will be a long haul, but Priyanka Gandhi, mark my words, will going to have an impact in the long haul. How much in this election? Let us see. But to 2022, she'll be a very strong candidate, and the Congress party, if she stays the course, if she decides that it's a momentary kind of attention and attraction towards Uttar Pradesh for 2019, then it's a different story. But if she stays the course, if she works hard, there is a very ripe, fertile ground for the Congress party. Because even in Western UP, the default option of Muslims, they may end up voting for Gathbandhan, but when you ask them who they are going to vote for, who they want to vote for, they first say Congress. Then when the narrative becomes clear that actually voting for Congress may end up wasting their vote, then they veer towards Gathbandhan. So Congress's base is there, but there are no easy short-cut solutions. They have to really work their butt out for the next couple of years on the ground to make any meaningful difference.
Right. Syed, would you like to, respond to that? What is the thinking within the BJP as far as, Priyanka Gandhi goes? Is she being seen as a force to reckon with?
In BJP's meeting, she is not even discussed, because for Congress party, she may be an icon. For the rest of the country, she is just an ordinary citizen like all of us are. So whatever the Congress party is speaking about her in terms of that she will make the impact, she has been campaigning for Congress party, and particularly for her mother and brother, and you know how much impact she had. Even if you just see the 2017 result, in assembly election result, and you see in those two constituencies where she was concentrating and campaigning and worked very hard, as people in Congress claim, yet you see the result. Most of the assembly seats Congress has lost. That suggests that the impact of Priyanka Gandhi in electoral politics and the exact number will next to negligible. We are not even discussing about Priyanka Gandhi or, for that matter, anybody else. What is important for us? For us is the issue, because what we have done in last 5 years is something which we want to take to the people, which we have been taking on a yearly basis. Every year we are showing our report card. We have done for every section of the society, and that is something which we want to explain to the people, which we have been doing for last 5 years. And also there are issues which people are raising is national security, is something which is an important issue which people are raising, and that is something which we also want to debate, because that is an important issue, because no other country we have seen where the opposition parties and their preference and priority is not the national security or issues of national importance, because they feel that the only thing they have to achieve is the people's vote, and that is something which we do not endorse. What is important, that people's perception in terms of how much you care for the nation, how much you care for the people of this country is important for us, and that is what we have done, and that is what we want to deliver.
Okay. Sanjeev Srivastava, I will come back to you, but I have a a pointed question for Salman Soz. Salman, after the minimum income guarantee vow, yesterday another poll promise being made. This one is SOPs to basically promote domestic industry. Now you've said, you've promised no paperwork for 3 years, tax credits based on job creation, and also the abolition of angel tax. The initial reaction, at least we got, especially from the startup community is that, look, the intent is right, but it's really execution that such schemes, are very hard to do. This will also mean that you'll have to forego revenue. How are you planning to sort of offset that?
Nyaya has clearly gotten a lot of play in the media, and it continues. I keep going on shows every day talking about Nyaya. But the other kind of Nyaya we want to do in this country is with our young people and create jobs, help create jobs for them. And it starts with getting micro, small and medium enterprises and giving them an opportunity to grow bigger. What has happened to our MSME sector is that it's really been decimated by the Modi government's policies, be it demonetization, be it GST. And as a result, our MSMEs are really, really small compared to, say, for example, Chinese MSMEs. So we need them to grow. We need to incentivize them to grow, because if they grow, then you can create jobs. Otherwise, it's a very, very difficult thing. Governments don't really necessarily create jobs. So how do you do that? I think this whole idea that we should just be fixated on the fiscal deficit and nothing else, I think that is not really good economics as far as I'm concerned. What you want to do is, when you look at the fiscal deficit ratio, because this is an economics channel, so I think I can discuss it here, you don't really look at just the raw number of fiscal deficit. You don't look at the absolute number. You look at the denominator, which is the GDP, which is the economy. You have to grow that, and the way to do that is by incentivizing business, by unleashing market forces. And the greater the output from these particular types of businesses, the more your economy is growing, the less you need to worry about the fiscal deficit. And by the way, when companies are doing well and they grow and they become wealthy, they're going to create jobs, and they're also going to help pay for the revenue. So I think it's a fundamental philosophical kind of difference between the BJP and the Congress. The BJP has led a very contractionary economic policy, starting with MSPs for farmers, which are very, very low. Then demonetization, which was a major contraction, then GST, which was on top of that. So I think we want to liberate India from their policies. Now, one point that I want to respond to that Mr. Islam talked about, he talked about national security and how only the BJP cares about national security. I'm sorry, that is totally wrong. Every Indian loves his country, his or her country. And by the way, do not for a moment think that the soldier who's guarding the border is not worried about his child's job. Okay, they worry about those jobs. And by the way, the greatest act of patriotism is to think about the country as a whole, not divide the country as Mr. Modi does. That is why the enemy, those who want to harm India, those foreign powers that are actually, they don't want India to succeed, they're probably hoping that this divisive government, this divisive party continues in power. That is my feeling.
Sure. Mr. Islam, I know you want to respond to that, but please do. But I also want to talk about, the second big poll promise that we heard from the Congress yesterday. Is this somewhere, your chink in the armor that the Congress is hoping to cash in on? The demon of angel tax, the promise of jobs, is the Congress sort of trying to here also woo India Inc., trying to broad-base their appeal?
See, the Congress still feels that it is India of 1970s, where you can still mislead the people of this country. They have given slogan, Bijli, Pani, Sadak, Garibi, Hatao, all these slogans which they never were even concerned to deliver it. And it's all being delivered by us today. Today we are giving roof to poor section of the society. We are giving free gas connection, free electricity, and everything what they had promised we have delivered. But let me tell you how misleading is this Nyaya scheme, and how misleading Mr. Salman is here, that he is talking about economy and the forward-looking how the growth will take place and how the benefit will accrue to poorer section of society. In any case, it will accrue if the economy is growing. But what you have promised is something which is absolutely misleading. First, my three questions, and I think they need to answer first, that 1,17,000 which is already being provided to people of this country, whether it is over and above. It is over and above, then you must see, and what the tweet Mr. Chidambaram has sent to the people of this country, that it is only at some stage, it will be, if the economy grows, then we will be able to they deliver it. Means there is nothing on paper, there is no methodology, there is no plan, there is no thought process here, except that they just wanted to mislead the nation, and that will not happen because the confidence level of people of this country is, vis-a-vis Rahul Gandhi is next to zero, and there is a there is a party and the Honorable Prime Minister enjoys the confidence of the people. So whatever you may try to mislead, it will not work. Or else you give the plan that how you will raise resources and from where the resources will come to deliver your promises what you are making, which is over and above the number which has already been indicated or being given to the people. Away from that, he is talking about job creation, he is talking about angel tax. See, if any party who is in opposition can speak about it, but today I can say with conviction that job is not the only thing which you see. And I am making this statement, you have to see the income level of people. If you go to the village, it may not, because 87% of the business is not in formal sector, it's in informal sector, and many things they report that the income is not even reported, because if you see the number of people who actually file the income tax returns and whose income is less than 12,000 per month is actually a very small number.
Sure. Okay. Sanjeev, I'm sorry. I just have time for one last question. Sanjeev, I apologize. You had your hand up. Nyay or nationalism? What appeals more to voters in India?
Sorry, nationalism or
Nyay.
What? Nyay or nationalism? I don't think there is a contradiction really. Nationalism and national security is an issue in this election. But prior to Pulwama and airstrikes, it was not. What I feel is that the narrative is actually shifting back to pre-Pulwama situation on the ground. So now the real election outcome, I think, will be decided on how convincingly the BJP is able to cross the 200 mark, will really be a function of whether the narrative remains national security, patriotism and issues like that, or whether the narrative shifts to bread and butter issues like jobs, like Nyay, what kind of freebies you are going to get. After all, freebies do make an impact whether we like them or not. And the only reason why I was raising a hand was that Mr. Zafar Islam is a good friend of mine, and he was saying that they don't even discuss Priyanka Gandhi in their election meetings, which is absolutely right, because they want to keep the focus on Rahul Gandhi. He has been their favorite whipping boy politically for the last so many years. So they can't now change move attention towards Priyanka. And very honestly, if Priyanka does decide to contest from Varanasi, and if by any chance SP and BSP support her candidature, then we'll have a mother of all contests in Varanasi, whoever may think whatever. So I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but mark my words, if the crowds that she has attracted in Ayodhya today, what will happen if she files a nomination from Varanasi? Just wait, watch this space, as they say.
Excellent. And with that, I'm sorry we're timed out on this edition of the India Development Debate, but thank you to each one of you for taking the time out and joining us on this leg of IDD. We'll of course take a quick break and come back with all the news and updates.